Hello, everybody, and welcome to Connected. I have been doing some work on my videos, and I was like, I always start with hello, hello, hello. So I was like, I'm going to switch it up next time I do an interview, and that's what I'm doing today. Welcome if you are here, and say hello. Where are you from? And thanks for watching. I am Jennifer Hart. If you don't know me, or if you do, I'm going to reintroduce myself again just in case. So I call myself a connector. I connect people that are seeking personal growth, development, fulfillment in their life, just bettering their life in any aspect, healing, learning, growing, to the resources, information, people, tools, and events that can support you along the way. I have created the Connected Soul Network membership. There is a Facebook group and a membership. They're separate. There is content that goes in the Facebook group, so join us there. And if you want, we have the membership open, and there are two membership options. I'll put the link so you can check them both out. But in short, we have explorers, who are people that are seeking the content, seeking the events, the information, the guidance, the tools, and the resources. And then we have the guides, who are the people that provide the support, the events, the tools, and the resources. And so if either of those sound like you and you're like, well, that sounds cool, we primarily are focused on back-end content in the membership portal, and then events, which are recorded and put into the portal as well, along with these interviews, which I love to do. And then you get to know the guides better, and they always have great information. They share their stories and how they got started in their business, which is always super fun and inspirational to learn about them. So that's the membership in short. If that feels like something that you might be interested in, the links are in the caption. We'd love to have you join us. And if you have any questions, reach out to me personally. I will write you back, and we will get on a call and talk it out and see if there's anything I might be able to assist you with. And if you don't feel like the membership's a good fit for you now, join us in the Facebook group. Lots going on there as well. All right. With that being said, I'm super excited. We have a super awesome guest today. Her name is, well, I call her Jenn, and she's Jenn with two N's, and I'm Jenn with one. But for formal purposes, she'll be going by Jennifer Hansen-Silva today. Let me tell you a little bit about her. So Jennifer Hansen-Silva is dedicated to serving children, young adults, women, and men to resolve long-standing health concerns. She provides compassionate care through individualized treatment plans to correct underlying causes of dis-ease, aka disease, so you can move forward with natural healing and a more vital you. Her other areas of expertise include stress management, inner child exploration, holistic nutrition, and mind-body awareness. Jennifer utilizes several different therapies such as homeopathy, aromatherapy, Ayurveda, herbal medicine, detoxification, hypnotherapy, mindfulness exercises. This includes guided meditations and breath work. Aromatherapy, which is the use of essential oils and smells to facilitate healing. Love it. Music therapy, nutrition counseling, energy work, crystal healing, and spiritual counseling. She does it all. She's also a dōTERRA advocate and a mental health advocate for others. I freaking love dōTERRA and essential oils. And I love Jenn. Welcome, Jenn. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Long time no talk. Just kidding.
I know, right?
Oh, if you are watching, this is previously recorded. So if you make a comment live and we do not address you, and it's not because we are ignoring you, we hear you, we see you, we love you, it's because we already recorded this. So we'll be monitoring the comments. And I usually have a little banner. Let me find that. There we go. Previously recorded.
Perfect.
Now it's official. Okay, so I always like to start off with how I know people and the connections, like how did the connection come about? So I'm going to go back to how I met the person that connected us. So I met Cherie, who introduced me to Jenn, back at, there was a girls' night in party. It was January of 2022. And it was the theme was astrology and tarot. And so I was like, it was the first one I had been to. I had been invited to others, but I hadn't made it. And I was like, oh, that's my jam. Like, this is my language. So I was like, I'm going to go. And Jenn's friend, Cherie and Deb, they came and we met them, just instantly clicked. And I was like, oh my God, I love them. Like, they're readers, they're healers, they're intuitives. And so we chatted the whole night. And then Cherie and I connected. And Cherie was like, why, you have to meet my friend Jenn. We do these goddess retreats. And we ended up doing an interview because you guys had a goddess retreat this last year, but you will be doing another one. So I'm just going to plant a seed here, which we can talk about it a little bit today too, because, time flies and it's like, people are they need to put it in their calendar. And so that's how I met Jenn. And then, yes, now we are connected and she is one of the guides in our membership. Super excited to have you and honored as well.
I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
Yes, me too. And super happy. So I'm just going to give a little sneak peek. So one thing that we're really going to talk about today is Jenn is opening her it's already ready, but the official grand opening is January 6th of 2023, her new studio where she can now do in-person sessions, which has been a long time in the making, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to drop that there. If you're local in the Central Valley area, she is located near Jackson, California. And we'll talk about that more later.
Sure.
But I'm like, there's so much to cover.
I know.
Okay. What I want to know is let's talk about how your healing journey started. I think that's a really important piece because when you hear how other people's healing journeys started, I feel like people are able to relate to themselves, like, oh yeah, that happened to me. And they might be at the beginning of it or the middle, or there's really no end. So
right.
only breaks in between. Okay, so tell us about your
journey.
healing journey.
I started in 2012, that whole Mayan calendar ending scenario that everybody was like freaking out over. That's pretty much what catapulted, like, oh, I need to look at my, when I'm eating, when I'm putting into my body, and sound healing started in that time. And then I decided to go to Southwest Institute of Healing Arts in 2013, got my psychology degree, which I think they only have one associate's degree program there. It's all online. It's an awesome school. I recommend anybody who's interested in holistic health or anything that on that wavelength to go to that school. It's amazing. And took a couple of years to get that. And then I took a break for 2 years. And then I went into my bachelor's degree in psychology at Grand Canyon University. And then went directly into my master's program from that. I think I had 2 weeks off between my bachelor's and my master's degree. And my master's is it's a master's of science in psychology with an emphasis of family dynamics. So since 2012, going pretty much shifting through school, taking a break off, and then kind of just diving into the world of psychology has been really the catapult of so many changes in my life and being aware of my mental health. All three of my degrees, when you had to do a case study, like for a major report or a project, I would use my own life, and they don't really encourage that. But I was like, I want to know what's wrong with me, type of thing, And so really, it's just been that kind of catapult through school and self-awareness and really the mental health piece and going to therapy myself and just really diving down deep into that shadow self and that work that needs to be done. And that's where inner child healing has come up. I feel very strongly about inner child work and how it can help us develop a self-awareness. So since the last 10 years, I've worked through that self-awareness, becoming aware of triggers and that inner child wounded, aspect of ourselves. So.
Okay. So I have a couple questions.
Sure.
First, I want to confirm what I heard. So what I kind of heard was your healing journey actually started out of curiosity for education. Would you say that that's right?
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned the Mayan calendar of 2012.
Yes.
I don't know, I was adding extra 20s in there. And so that piqued your interest, like, okay, maybe I need to start taking better care of myself, right?
Yes.
And in order to take better care of yourself, you wanted to educate yourself. And then that's when you went to the holistic school and got
Yes.
your education and your
Mhm.
degrees. And then from there, it just kind of catapulted. And as you're
Yeah.
on this educational curiosity journey, this is what I'm hearing, and this one, make sure
Yes.
it's right. You subsequently, like, the outcome and the results was that you started to do the inner work because that's what you were learning about, and that's when you were having your healing journey and your awakening, as I call it, simultaneously.
Yes,
And that's
absolutely.
so freaking cool that you were
Mhm.
your own case study.
Yeah, it was pretty eye-opening, like, "Wow, I have mother and father wound, awesome. Okay, so how we're gonna deal with this?"
I'm like,
You know? So
don't we all, right? Don't we
I
all? We
know,
all do.
really, we all do, so,
Yeah.
but
And then, okay, so then you mentioned shadow work. Can you define for anyone who's watching who may not know that, what is shadow work, or shadow self, I think is what you called it?
yeah, I feel like it's been pretty popular these days on social media with shadow work and delving down deep into the side of ourselves that we don't like per se. But really, it's the triggers. What triggers you? Where does that trigger come from? It comes from a past traumatic experience, or you have these memories of childhood of how you weren't acknowledged or validated and how you feel. So the ego tries to you know um, keep us in a little box to keep us safe from oh well, my dad, he treated me this way, so I'm going to not really like men too much type of thing. That there's so many aspects of the shadow self, but really it's those self-awarenesses, like the self-esteem, the self-worth, the self just accepting those types of yourself that are make you feel uncomfortable. But really, how I explain to my clients is it's the trigger. Where is that trigger coming from? And I feel like that's where the shadow work begins is, oh my gosh, I'm being triggered right now. And what can I do to regulate myself through through that trigger? What thoughts are surrounded? I feel like that's the thought process, and getting to the root of your triggers is the beginning of that shadow work.
Yeah, I love that. So I always ask for definitions because I think of who was I when I first started on my journey. And I remember I would read some books that were recommended to me and they were just above my level of my knowledge. And so I always like to just keep it very simple. So basically the shadow self, it is I see it all over Facebook, but I also keep in mind that I specifically follow and look for specific content, but
Hmm.
it's
Oh, right.
basically looking at those parts of ourself that we may not be a fan of. So, like, I know there's a lot of, okay, let me give an example for myself. So I like to be right, and I like to have credibility, like credit. So I've learned this about myself. I'm not always coachable, and because I'm always right, right? Now I know these things aren't true, but they
Yeah.
are aspects of me and who I
Yeah.
have been growing up, how I was raised, other experiences that I've had. So, like, I know these things. And so, what I know about shadow work also is like being able to look at them, identify them, and look at where did they come from. That's where you're talking about the inner child, the
Hmm.
looking at the thought process. And I can identify them, and I've done a lot of work around them. There's always more to do, but like,
Hmm.
if I get triggered and I'm upset or mad or angry, like something got poked, and what's poking me is the wound of that. So then we look at that, and then just accepting and loving all of yourself anyways, with like
Absolutely.
those pieces that you said you don't like those pieces of yourself. Yeah, because like nobody wants to be like, oh, I'm right all the time and I like to be
Yeah.
right. I'm like, I don't like that, but it's just I've had to accept it. And also, the more healing that I do, the more that I'm able to let that go. And as I heal like the wounds of it, which I love to just call data. Like when we have a
Yeah.
trigger, it's data. And so it's taking that data and evaluating it and analyzing it and looking at it and being like, oh, okay, this is where I need to do some work. This is what's happening. And yeah, I look at it that way. And
Yeah.
it's looking at the parts that we don't necessarily, or things, because it could be things too,
Right.
that we don't want to, basically.
Yeah, right. It's that those aspects of ourself, like, oh, I have such bad self-esteem. And no, I've been working on my self-esteem. It's reframing those mindsets. And
Yeah.
I think the self-esteem thing is for a lot of people where they, I wish I didn't have such bad self-esteem. It's like, okay, why do you have bad self-esteem? Go down that rabbit hole. Why do you? What needs to be healed so you can feel worthy of yourself and that you are enough?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And things come up all the time. So like when you start your journey, or if you're already on it, it's like I will get ideas, thoughts, things will present themselves. And so then you heal that, and then it's like an onion. So, like, okay, then you
yeah.
build off one layer, and then it happens again, and you're like, damn it, what the hell? I thought I did like focus on this already, and now it's back. That's because there's layers of
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, which is so. Tell me about what is inner child healing or inner child work?
So it'd be identifying your inner child, the aspects of yourself that your inner child is trying to get your attention through. And it could be feelings of lack, of self worth. Where is that coming from? And exploring what the tools that can help regulate yourself through those triggers of those feelings of low self-esteem or low, lack of worth. And I feel like identifying that inner child, I mean, I think just that move right there, identifying, is a huge step into healing your inner child, is to acknowledging the inner child through journaling or through, I offer a session with emotional freedom technique with affirmations where you do the tapping of meridians that activate and reactivate the neural pathways of thoughts that are connected to memories or triggers. And so the inner child can feel appreciated. It's sometimes it's really good to go with hypnotherapy and go into a past event that has happened to you where your inner child was wounded, and going there and being your adult self, going there and consoling your inner child. There's a lot of work that could be done around that through hypnotherapy and EFT.
So
But
when you say inner child, just if someone's never, I mean, we hear the term, but what does inner child mean really? Like, who is your inner child?
yeah, it's that little kid inside you from the age, I think the self-development ages, where I think it's from 5 to 9. I think that's a really good age
I hear
range
different
where,
all the time, like 0 to 7, 0 to 9.
yeah, I
Yeah.
really think, just because I work with kids and I have worked with kids in the past too, I feel like that five and between 5 and 9, you're really developing your sense of self and saying, no, I don't like that, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. You develop this like personality in you, and we carry that into our adulthood. We carry that sense of self. It starts, when you're a kid. And we, even as adults, we, like, say you want to go on to go to a playground and go on the playground as an adult. I feel like that's your inner child coming out of you. I've seen adults do that, or playing games or coloring, or I think adult color books are huge right now, and they have been for quite a few years now. It's that inner, we all have that inner child that stays within us. I don't think we ever fully grow up, and in many senses, because we did develop who we are as a kid. So I feel like that's where the inner child lays, is in our subconscious mind of, we just want to have fun, and we want to play, and we want to, find joy in the little things, a piece of cake type of thing. We still have that inner child within us for the rest of our lives. I've, seen it in older adults as well. In their 70s, you still see the inner child still there. So
Yeah.
you can't run away from your inner child. That's
So
for
your
sure.
inner child is a piece of you that stays with you always.
Yes.
And what I see, and what I think you're saying the same, is that we've all had wounding. And it doesn't have to be intentional wounding, right? It's how we interpret something as that small child at that actual age that
Yes.
then comes and stays within us in the subconscious brain, which is 90% of, some say 95, of
Mhm.
what is really happening in every day in our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions. And so with the work that you do, is that you are able to help people to tap into their inner child to basically navigate their day-to-day life by working with their inner child.
Yes. And identifying the triggers, which is really has very it's very connected to your inner child because it's your inner child that's being triggered.
Yes. And
So,
so the inner child runs your show, basically, is what
yes.
you're saying. Yeah.
So getting the grasp onto handling that, reparenting yourself. I give tools to how to reparent yourself, to be
What
the
does that
mom.
mean exactly? Because I keep hearing this term. And so I'm like, well, tell me more. Like, what does that mean, reparent yourself?
So, like for example, um, let's see. I always like to use food.
Great.
Should I have that extra fifth cookie? So what would your mom do, or what would your dad? No, you can't have that. So in your mind, you have to go. You know what? You can have it tomorrow. It's little things like that how you can reparent yourself. Or, wow, it's getting late. I'm past my bedtime. I should probably go to bed. Yeah, you should probably go to bed. Like that's reparenting yourself, is making those decisions that, I know a lot of people growing up, you wanted to stay up late. And so your mom would be like, or your dad or your grandma or whoever your caregiver was would say, oh, you need time to go to bed. Well, we could do that in our adulthood now by keeping boundaries within ourselves. That's how you reparent yourself, is identifying your inner child and then knowing the family system within yourself to reparent and just make decisions based off of parenting yourself, pretty much making good decisions, really what it
Making
is.
good decisions that are in the interest of your best and highest self
Yes.
for your all healths, physical, mental, and
Yes.
emotional. So, yeah, it sounds really great that, the other day when Manifest, I love that freaking show, came out, and I ended up binge watching. This is why I don't watch new TV shows, because I know that I will keep going and going. And so I don't even do it. I don't put myself in that situation. But that is one show I watch. And then I stayed up till 3:30 in the morning and I watched all of them. And I wasn't even mad about it. I was like, this is what I wanted to do.
Right.
I consciously chose that. And then
Yes.
I was tired the next day. And
Right.
yeah, so it's like like if I was parenting myself, I would have said, okay, turn the TV off and go to bed. But I just kept talking myself into the next one. So I didn't.
Right. Oh, I've been there so many times. That's why I don't watch TV shows anymore either.
Correct. Yeah. It's just
Can't do
like
it.
it's easier for me to not do it.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
Yeah.
so easy these days. At least when it was on like cable, you had to wait. They would only show
Oh,
you
I know.
one and you had to wait. And I hated it. And I was like, oh, I wish I could watch them all. And now that they're all here, I'm like, yeah, it's not the best idea.
No. That's great.
But yeah, so I love that example. Thank you for breaking that down.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, well, how did you get started in your business? So you got all this education and then what?
Yeah. After my associates, when I took my life coach certificate, um I'm like, you know what? I took a holistic health practitioner. I actually did 600 hours of just different kinds of techniques and classes, and did aromatherapy, hypnotherapy, um, and of course life coaching. I just realized, I would love to help other people, because my life coaching classes just transformed my life. They shine the light onto the shadow self pretty much. And I like life coaching because um, it's similar to counseling or therapy. But one thing I like about life coaching is you don't need a life coach for a long time like you would need a therapist. And a life coach pretty much brings the answers out of yourself by asking you really deep, meaningful questions. where therapy is you're the one who's just talking a lot, and then the therapist gives you advice and stuff like that. So I felt called to life coaching because you know, some people don't want to have a therapist for the rest of their lives, and some do, and that's okay, you know. But a life coach, it sets you up to better yourself and then go on your merry way in your own path without one. Or maybe you might want to go back to one, but you know, after 2015 when I graduated, I was like, I really would like to start a business offering holistic health assessments, which also I took that class too. Actually, I took several nutritional classes, but and then I started a business. I started my business in, I think it was like 2016, and it was called the House of Conscious Healing, which I love, but I felt that was too long. But I love that name anyway, still. And I think I did it for about a year. I did it out of my house. Had a business license and everything with the city, and I realized that I needed to work on my mental health more. And so I closed shop and worked on myself from 2016 to now. And went took my bachelor's degree and then my master's degree, and just really was like, okay, I think I've done a lot of work on myself. Um, I know deregulating someone, de-escalation is what I was looking for, de-escalating. Um, and I'm also a social worker and a foster family agency social worker during the day. So I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of trauma related individuals. And so I just felt that, relaunching my business with a new name, which is Conscious Balance, um, is really what catapulted it. So it's really what Southwest Healing Institute, Healing Arts is what really catapulted my business back then to where it is now. So,
I love that. And I feel like that's a lot of the journeys for myself included and a lot of other people is they had something that created change in their life. They wanted to grow, learn, heal, whatever the focus was. And I feel like all of them are a byproduct if you just start any type of journey. And
yeah.
then it's like we love the results and the outcome. And of course, then we're like, let's help other people do it. And that's kind of
Yes.
the cycle of what's happening, or at least what I see happening. And it's cool because now we've done it and then we can help other people do the same, which is
Yeah.
why I love the membership, because I have super awesome people like you. I'm a healer in a different way. I don't do one-on-one sessions with people. I don't have like the Reiki and that kind of stuff. I just know the people who do it. And so but it's much needed, like you said. So it just depends. Like people should go where they feel called, and
Mhm.
some for therapy, like that's where they should be. And I recommend it personally. I think there's no reason why you shouldn't go. And
Right.
also, life coaching is just a totally different approach. And it is, I love that you said it's that the answers are within ourselves, because I believe that. And sometimes there's just clouding. So we
Mhm.
need an outside person to help us to get there, because we have blinders on of our own baggage of trauma and beliefs and thoughts and everything else. And it's kind of like, we think it's one way, but then when someone else comes in with a new perspective, it's a totally different way.
Yeah, it's like they're outside your bubble, so they can't get those emotional influences that are in your life currently,
Yeah.
and they have more of a, clear head mindset of who you are and what you need.
Yeah.
So, and I just want to throw out there, I've had, or I continue to have, both a life coach and a therapist. I feel like if you need both, it's good. You
Yeah.
might
I agree.
be drawn to more one than the other, which I think I'm more drawn to my therapist just because it's the cognitive behavioral side of things, where a life coach is more of a coach, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, they have
And
different roles. They do
yes,
provide different services in different types of ways, different processes. So
right.
that's why I am just here to communicate to people. Here's like people that are doing these services. Here's what they focus on. Here's how they do it. And the people who are watching should then pick, like, if they feel called to something, try it out. Like, I'm an experimenter. And so I'm like, give me all the healing sessions with all the people. Like, it sounds amazing. And then I share because I have great experiences.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I've not really had not great experiences. I'm sure maybe there's some, but I've had way more great experiences than nothing. And sometimes even just one session with somebody can be life changing.
Oh yeah.
And so what services are you offering? Because you do so. Jenn does online, and now with her new business that's
Yes, in
opening
person.
officially in person, physical location. Oh, I put the hold on.
Yes.
I made a little banner. Yeah, right there.
Oh, sweet.
I spelled it right, right?
Yes. That's
So this
great.
is her new location. So you can do, if people are not in the area, they can still do online. But what services do you offer to people?
So holistic health assessments, which it's very thorough. I take down all the information that's what's going on with you and what herbs, herbs you should be taking, supplements, foods you should be eating, foods you shouldn't be eating, other modalities that could help you with your issues, such as hypnotherapy and all the other stuff that I offer. Aromatherapy assessments, that's with dōTERRA oils. I do a full panel of what all the oils you should be taking, how you should be taking them. I do tarot oracle combination readings. I don't like to do tarot readings or just oracle readings. I feel like the back to back with the energy is just so powerful. And most times when I've done the combination readings, they turn into a life coach session anyway. So that's why I've been kind of promoting the tarot and oracle reading combination, just because it's more powerful than just one deck of cards.
Yeah.
And of course, the inner child healing session with emotional freedom technique. And I also offer the sacred cacao ceremonies, but that's a little bit separate. But I can do, we can do mini sessions of that, of ceremony, the past life regression hypnotherapy, as well as hypnotherapy I offer. And
Did you say tapping already? The
yes,
tapping?
that's
Okay.
with the inner child healing. And then I do a chakra balancing with Reiki crystal healing session where we go over your chakras with a wooden pendulum, see where they are. And then we do like attunement Reiki session with crystals. You lay down on a bed or a massage table. And then I infuse the person's feet with infrared light, which is a healing lamp, pretty much. Give the root chakra some help. And then doing aromatherapy as well as sound healing. So it's this huge session of aligning your chakras, and then we'll test them out afterward to see how the chakra centers are doing. So that's another service that I'll be
Oh my God,
providing.
you have so many tools. Like I can see where all your years of education and
Yeah.
exploration for yourself have paid off, that you now
Yes.
have this
Yes.
plethora, smorgasbord of all the things.
Yeah, really.
So can people come and get just one single session,
Yeah.
or is it okay? So you do
Yeah,
single
and
sessions.
with the coaching, I really recommend a holistic health assessment just to help you out. I feel nutrition and plant medicine is very essential into any person's life, and
Yeah.
I always like to recommend combining sessions, or I'm pretty much open to anything. I'm also, and I don't promote this, but I am I would provide sliding scale options when it comes to pay. So say someone couldn't pay the full amount, I'm actually open to working with your financial flexibility type of thing. So, but that's not something I advertise, but I do want to throw it out there that I'm not going to turn anybody down if they can't pay the full amount. But
Wow, that's very generous of you, because as a person that runs my own business, I'm like, I don't have the capacity. No, I do. I do some scholarships here and there. So I totally, I love that though, because, the people want to do the healing, and maybe it's not always the most opportune time, but they really need it. So
right.
bless your soul for that. And I
Yeah,
know
and I'm
that,
looking into some insurance providers too that offer what can cover my services. And that's
yeah.
something that I will be looking into. And I've found a couple, but I still need to do more research for that. So it could be you just pay a monthly fee and they pay me type of thing.
Very cool. Yeah, let me know
Yeah.
about that. I would love to know
Yeah.
that. That's actually one of my longer term missions is like, how can we get alternative, they call it alternative healing,
Yes.
covered under
Yeah.
insurance because it's preventative. It's healthy in many other ways rather than just
Yeah.
here's a pill, here you go.
Yeah, really. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, I know they can cover like holistic dentists too, that I've looked into that as well, like seeing, it could just cover everything
Jen's
holistic.
a researcher. I've learned this about her, and she's so knowledgeable on so many things. She just be giving me ideas all the time. She's like, "Well, look, I did these festivals, and I did this," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing! I'm so
Hey,
happy to
yeah.
have you in the membership with us because you're just a wealth of knowledge."
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so that's really cool. Thank you for supporting people where they are,
Yes.
and I just want to tell people that if that's you, totally reach out and talk to Jen about it. And I would love for people to get that help and support. And I'd also like to say, also be cognizant that like she is still doing all the work like that she would do for the price of a full session. So be mindful
Yeah.
of time. This is where I don't really do free stuff anymore because I've realized that people need their own skin in the game, myself
Yeah.
included,
Right.
and to be able to show up and be invested as well. And so I love that you are allowing that option for people.
Yes.
And if someone is interested, they can contact you via your website. Is that the best place to reach you right now?
Yeah, like it'll take them. I mean, all the information that they need is on there, and
Okay.
that's consciousbalance1111.com.
Let me add that one on.
And everything is on there. You can text me or email me or find me on Facebook. Don't be afraid to reach out. And
So on
I
your
also,
website, there's a place for like to email you
yes,
or you have your
yep,
number on there. Okay.
yeah, and it'll
Sure.
go straight to my email. So
And do you do consultations for people?
yes, I would be open to that, seeing if maybe I'm a good fit for them. I don't
Yeah.
have a formal way of doing it. It just talk on the phone, see where you are, I've had a client, like what do they need, I have hypnotherapy, that might help you, kind of thing. So it's kind of like an informal consultation. Um, but it's definitely, you might come and see, oh, I'm interested in that, or this like the crystal healing session.
Yeah.
I've had people do that too. But
So
yeah, and
basically,
I also want to throw one more thing I want to throw out there is I make immune boosting products with the CPTG quality of oils. I starting to have a line of just immune boosting products of making, and so I also sell that as well.
I'm an advocate for the oils. I also do the doTERRA oils. You can see them
Yes.
all right back here. I got them all.
Yes.
I have tons of personal like stories of how they have helped
Oh
me
yeah.
with things. Western medicine wanted to cut out a cyst that I had, and I got on the table and I had a traumatic experience, and so I freaked out and I was like, I can't do it. So I was like, I'm gonna go home and give it a solid effort with my oils, and those oils like
Oh yeah.
did everything it needed to do, and
Yep.
I just have a little scar there and that's it. And they were
Yeah,
like,
they're
it has
incredible.
to be cut out, and I'm like, no it doesn't. And
Yeah,
my
right.
clinic also, I didn't believe that it had to be cut out, and they did. And yeah, so the oils, highly recommend. So anything
Yes.
that Jen does with the oils is going to be so good. The oils are just healing on so many levels,
Oh
and I
yeah.
love that and she's super knowledgeable about it because I've only been doing oils for a couple years, and like she was giving me pointers when I saw her last, and I was having
Yes, and
no problem.
aromatherapy assessments too are very thorough. So if you
Yeah.
don't know what oils you want to get into the aromatherapy world of doTERRA or Young Living or whatever you're looking at, I can give you everything you need. Full
Yes.
assessment.
And education and how to use the oils is like the missing
Yes.
piece I see for a lot of people. So for
Yeah.
me, I love to sell them, but I'm like, I don't want to educate people. This is too much work. So
Yeah.
if you need
It's a lot.
education, go to Jen. She can help you out with all the things. But
Right.
yeah, so for the consultation, so what I hear is that if somebody like if they already know, if you're like a hell yes, like just go contact Jen and book your sessions in. If you're
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't know, like there's so many things, what's the best thing for me? Should I do inner child work? Should I do this? Like
I'd say just
then
a holistic health coach session to see where you
you would
are.
recommend that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start you out with.
Yeah. But
And
they can do the consultation, and then you can chat and then give them a recommendation. I
yeah,
would say, I'm just going to be honest, I would say it's a plan. Like,
yeah.
because here's the thing, like, you can go to the gym one day, and this is the best analogy I heard about, like, your healing, your internal healing of your mental, emotional, spiritual bodies. It's like, the same as a physical. Like, you go to the gym one day, what results are you really going to get out of going to the gym one day? Like, you have to be consistently doing something, and so
Yes.
you have so many tools. I don't know if you do this. I'm sure you probably do, but making packages for people, like, okay, this month you're
Oh
going to
yeah.
get this, and then this, and then, set up a package plan price for them or something, where they're coming
Yeah.
to see you consistently, so that they have that support in place. And then they get to try all the things, or
Oh
maybe they
yeah.
figure out what they like or they don't like. So
Yeah,
I'm
that'll
like, I'm
definitely
just
be in
speaking
the
for myself.
future. I'm doing like pretty much a soft opening on the 6th. Um, and we'll see where that goes. There's a lot more I
I'm
can
like, Jen,
offer.
just go for it. I've already said it on this show now, and so it's real. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
It'll all work out beautifully, just the way it's supposed to.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, okay, so we have, this is her website. We have the actual location. The opening is January 6th. If you're
Yes.
watching this, you're like, well, I don't live there. Well, we are sorry that you're not in our area, and we would miss you dearly. But she
I'm
does
only an
open
hour, not
online.
even an hour away from the Central Valley.
Yes.
And I've done, I drive to Manteca or Modesto, or it's an hour drive.
She's
But still,
also by, I feel like most people, well, at least me, because I like the casinos, is she's by Jackson Rancheria Casino, which is
yes.
a huge place. And they have a hotel there.
Hmm.
So you can go and stay, and it's nice, and it's in the mountains, and it's very
Yes.
pretty. But okay, let's talk more before we wrap up.
Sure.
What else would you say about inner child healing and navigating, like, day-to-day life? Like, do you have any tools or tips that you can give people before
Yeah.
we get out?
The butterfly hug. When you're feeling stressed out, or you're feeling like you're um, anxiety attack, or any of those lines, you want to do the butterfly hug, where you pretty much go like this to yourself and then just tap.
So you make a butterfly basically with your
Yeah.
hand,
Yes.
and then you just tap.
Yep. And that should start calming down your nervous system, having you come touch base into where we're at, and it's very comforting for yourself, and it's helped me a lot when I feel stressed out. If I do feel stressed out, I have pretty good stress management now, but sometimes I'll feel overwhelmed, and I'll do that, and it's just incredibly easy,
Yeah.
and it will make you feel comfort. And some people say that you can do a hug to yourself too. This is very similar. You just hug yourself and rock yourself like a baby. That's another one that's very similar to butterfly hug. You comfort yourself with your own hands. It's just awesome and
And so,
simple.
in your inner child, how does someone know if their inner child, like, needs attention?
So one sign is you hate kids.
What?
I've noticed that in clients where they're like, I can't stand my kids, or I can't stand my neighbor's kids, and I'm like, how's your inner child? There's an inner child in there that's like screaming, begging to be seen. I feel like I feel like that's one of the signs, one sign.
That's
But
hilarious.
yeah, I've noticed that, like, it's kind of funny and ironic in a sense. But
Mm.
another one would be not feeling good enough.
Yeah, that's huge. That's like majority of society at some point or
Yeah,
another.
that's your inner child calling, saying, I need help. I need to feel like I am good enough. So
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we know triggers. We talked about that earlier. If maybe kids annoy you, then there's something to look at there. That's so funny,
yes.
because I think that applies to me. I don't dislike kids. Let me just say that right now. I just don't know how to interact with them. I was always the youngest kid.
Oh wow.
So I didn't have a lot of people to play with, because they were all way older than me.
Oh,
And
interesting.
yeah, and so I had to just do my own thing, or I hung out with older kids and adults. So then
Oh
what
yeah.
happens
Hmm.
is that I'm learning adult things, or
Right.
I'm mature for my age, which I now
Mhm.
learned is like, yeah, that's great, like we use it as a compliment, but it's maybe
Mhm.
meaning there's other things missing. And so I
Right.
don't know how to interact with kids. I don't know how to like have like that little imagination. And so I see a direct, when you said that, I was like, ooh, that's me, but in a different sense. Not that I dislike kids, it's that I don't know how to interact with them and get down to their level, because I've
Yeah.
maybe just skipped like that little part of myself, and
Mhm.
it's calling me like, come play with me, like
Yeah,
play.
exactly.
And yeah,
Right.
yeah, because I notice I work a lot. And so I'm like, okay, you need to get out of the house and go do something fun. Like, you haven't been doing anything fun lately.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's funny that you said that. And then you
Yeah.
said so we said triggers, that, and then what's the last thing you just said? You literally just said it.
Self-worth, not feeling good enough.
Not feeling good enough.
That
Yes.
is your inner child, 100%, 150%.
150% people, not
Yeah.
just 100. It's like, basically, if you're upset at any point in your life, it's probably your inner child
Yeah, pretty much.
lacking something and
Yep.
needs some type of attention or information. And
The
so,
trigger the trigger is a gift. I've heard that quote the other day. Our triggers are a gift to ourselves.
yeah. Or, well, how I would say it, because my theme is like adventure navigation. It's like it's your compass. It's your
Yeah.
navigational tool of what needs to be worked on. Like,
Yep.
why, if you really, so I see like people get really focused on something, and if that's you, and you're like, oh my god, and this person does this, like, okay, why does that bother you so much? What is there to look
Right.
at there? It's always a mirror of
Oh,
what
yeah.
something like is going on inside of us. I'm very careful. I try to be very careful
Yeah.
before things come out of my mouth, and I go, oh, look at that, Jennifer. Like, you're saying that to someone else. Like, just hold up the mirror right here. And what do you
Yep.
got going on?
It's a
Um,
projection of your reflection. That's what I like to call it.
yes, a projection
It's
of your
a 4
reflection.
agreements.
Yes. Four Agreements. Great book.
Don't take anything personally because it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
It has
But
to do
then
with their inner child.
it does. Yes. So it's like that's someone else's like upset, but also like when you're upset, what's going on with you?
Yes.
So, all
So
good
crazy.
information. Anything you want to add before we leave?
Um, just I'm looking forward to any client that is being called to me. I'm not forcing anything on anybody. I'm just seeing who is the universe going to send to me who I can help change their life in some way and assist.
I love
So
that. Yes.
I'm here to assist humanity.
Yes, and that is what I'm here to do, is to be the channel of connection and to highlight,
Yes.
here's Jen, here's what she does, and if you feel called to her, go check her out. She's freaking rad and super knowledgeable, as you've heard this whole time, full of education and tools, and just a very loving and patient demeanor is what I get from you also. And yeah, so it's like a safe space to go try out some new things, or just work on
Yeah.
yourself and take care of yourself and give yourself the gift, especially with the new year. I feel like people
Oh yeah.
coming off the crazy stressful holiday season,
Yeah.
this is the time that you really need some extra care for yourself now. And
Yes.
then plus with the new year, people are always like, new year, new me. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
Right.
great, go do it. Like, and keep it going throughout the year, though. You deserve it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So, okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for all of your time
Thank
and
you so
energy.
much for taking time
Yeah, of
out.
course. I love doing this personally. I'm
I
like,
can tell.
I get to do interviews every day. I love
That's
sharing
awesome.
information. It's what I've done as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I'd learn something and then I'd go tell everybody about it. Like,
Yeah, you're great at it.
thank you so much. And if you want to join us in the membership, the caption has the links for it. You can check it out. Lots of upcoming events. Next week, we have a co-working session, and we have that's for anybody, explorers or guides. And we also accept non-members at our events. Events are $15 if you are a non-member, but just become a member because it's the best deal. And then we have Choose Your Words Vision Workshop with Sandy. And then, gosh, I'm like, hold on, I'm doing these off the top of my head. So Mondays, Choose Your Words. Tuesdays, co-working. Wednesday is Called to Connect. Oh my gosh, huge. Like, that's my event. I should know that. That one's focused on guides. Explorers are welcome to come, but it's a business focus. And then Thursday, Danny Muniz is going to be doing live readings from 12 to 12:30 with the Akashic records and her astrology. She's an astrologist. Yes. Yeah. So like that's 4 events next week that people can attend. And Jen and I are going to talk about if she wants to set up any events to add to the calendar too. And oh my God, we could do an in-person event.
Oh yeah, I'm down for that.
Let's talk about that. We'll talk about that. I'm going to let the people go. Thank you for tuning in today.
Thank you so much.
And we will see you